It's time. Yeah, definitely what a game. What a game. He got it's time to breathe again on the latest.
Aaron, my man, what's up, dude?
Yeah, what's going on, Aaron? Good to see you checking in. It is time to breathe again on this latest Bofa Sports webcast streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. So, Patrick, we have a lot to jump into, starting with the preview of the NBA conference finals. So, in the Western, in the Western Conference, which is starting this evening. Actually, as we are talking to you, the game's about to start in about 5 minutes or so. It is the OKC Thunder hosting the Minnesota Timberwolves, and in the Eastern Conference, which starts Wednesday, it will be the Indiana Pacers visiting the New York Knicks. And look, for me, Patrick, I think it's simple. I'll go ahead. I'll start it off with the predictions. And I have Pacers in the Eastern Conference in 6 games, and I have Thunder in the Western Conference in 6 games. It's for the same reasons, which is why I'm just doing a combo deal here. Both the Pacers and the Thunder have deeper teams, deeper rosters, and the pace, no pun intended with the Pacers, the pace that they play with, I think will just wear the other two teams down, the Knicks and the Timberwolves. The Knicks and Timberwolves, they play 7, 8 people max from their bench or in their rotation in general. And while they are top heavy, we know what Minnesota brings with Anthony Edwards. Julius Randle has been doing his thing as well. And the Knicks with Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, Mikal Bridges, and OG Anunoby. But with the Pacers on the Eastern Conference side, being led by Tyrese Halliburton, Pascal Siakam, and Miles Turner. And again, they go 10 deep on their bench and they play fast in a hurry, and it's a controlled pace. And I just over time, that's going to wear the Knicks out because Tom Thibodeau has not played people. He does not play people. And the 8th person that may come in there, that's only because of foul trouble. So, so 7 people ain't going to cut it. When you get deeper in the playoffs, especially at this point with the conference finals being every other day, that's going to catch up to the Knicks. And I see the same deal happening for the Timberwolves, top heavy, but the bench doesn't go that deep in. Same thing with Tom Thibodeau. You got Chris Finch coaching them. They won't bring people in unless the other starters get in foul trouble. That ain't going to cut it against a team like OKC. So that's what I have, Patrick. Pacers 6, Thunder in 6, Indiana OKC in the NBA Finals.
Okay. I'm going to go back a little bit, and I'm going to say a couple episodes ago, we started off with this was Boston's to lose. And obviously the Tatum's injury hurt them very apparently more than it should have. I mean, like I don't know. Even with Tatum's loss, even with the loss of Tatum, I still think Boston should have had enough people to beat the Knicks. But I have to go back and say this. Kudos to what the Knicks brought to that series because they played. They played and they owned it. And I honestly don't think even with Tatum healthy throughout that entire series, Knicks was going to lose. So I wanted to go back and I wanted to talk about that one because in my shorty a couple weeks back, I talked about when plates are too much for them to eat. And I have to give credit where credit's due to the Knicks, who was one of my teams that I said I felt they were too. They had too much on their plate. All right,
they deserve to be there. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I have to go back and give credit where credit is due. So congrats to the Knicks, but I do feel that this Pacers team is just like you said. They're deep, they're fast, and they just play better. And this Knicks team just they're not going to adapt to moving a in their rotation. They're going to stick to the 6, maybe the 7. So I agree with you, Pacers. But honestly, I think I got the Pacers in 5 because I do feel like that team is going to probably whip the Knicks. And I think I told you this yesterday, or I told you earlier today, but man, I was thinking about this Knicks and Pacers, and I was like, oh, the days when it was Reggie Miller and Patrick Ewing and all of those. I was like, maybe one day it'll get there, but we like you said, we're gonna have to see this series multiple times in the next couple of years for us to enjoy that Knicks Pacers rivalry that was back in the 90s. Timberwolves and Thunder. I agree with you there on that one. Thunder and 6. I think the Timberwolves have enough youth, and even though they don't come off the bench like they should, I think they have enough youth to keep to hang with the Thunder. I will say this about the Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards is going to have to come off that court a little bit more. I mean, that dude is averaging 42, 43 minutes a game. And last game that he played against the Nuggets, he didn't come off in the second half at all.
They played the Warriors. The Warriors.
Oh, Warriors. I'm sorry, the Warriors. He didn't come off that game. He didn't come off the floor in that second half at all. So I agree with you. I'm going to take the Thunder in 6, and then I'm going to take the Pacers in 5.
And Patrick, so you mentioned the minutes with Anthony Edwards. That's a lot.
And that is a lot. Even for a young person, it's still a lot.
And for them, give them credit here because they were able to take the Warriors out in 5 games. We know Aaron says Pacers in 5. Oh Lord.
he don't like the Pacers anyway.
No, he does not.
He's probably like the Knicks in 3.
Mercy rule in 3, right?
He's going to mercy rule at home. We're going to take them in the first 2 games at home, and Pacers ain't even going back. We're going to go back to their house and help them and just pack their bags for them.
But give the Timberwolves credit for they took advantage of the opportunity. We know the Warriors lost Steph Curry in game 1 of that series, but the Timberwolves, they didn't mess around. They got Golden State out of there. They saw a wounded animal. Golden State has been on the end of that too, where they've seen players from the other teams not be able to play, and they've taken advantage of those opportunities. So those are the breaks sometimes. Unfortunately or fortunately, I mean, like, you're not trying to see anybody get hurt, of course, but nobody's feeling sorry for you out there. You still got to play with what you have, and if it's not enough, then it's not enough.
You should have thought about that earlier in the season.
That sounds like the internet is the internet.
You had to bring it up, didn't you? You had to bring it up.
Of course. But just like with Anthony Edwards, Julius Randle's playing a lot of minutes too. And when you go back over to the Eastern Conference, all the starters for the Knicks are playing around 40-something minutes, especially Jalen Brunson. Mm-hmm. And so when you have those minutes, they start to add up. Now, what you'll give the Timberwolves is both of their series, they've been able to end in 5 games. So they still may have a little bit more freshness. And like you said, they have some young talent, as do the Knicks. The Knicks have some young talent mixed in there too in their 7-man rotation. But it's just
a 4-man rotation that they
need. It's just a lot to maintain. It's a lot to ask of those players when you get to this point, especially. Every other day there's a game, and it just starts to be taxing. And the younger teams, fresher legs, those are the teams that are going to start to assert themselves. And that's what I see with the Thunder. Like you said, unless Anthony Edwards for Minnesota and Jalen Brunson for the Knicks are able to go pretty much nuclear, meaning they're scoring around 35, 40 points, and then they are getting some help from those other guys, it looks rough. That's a tall mountain for those two to climb to beat these deep teams like the Thunder and Pacers are bringing.
And you're not going to ask them for bench points because what are you going to ask from two people to give you off the bench? 40 points? You're not getting that. Now with the Pacers and the Thunder, you possibly could get 40 points because they got 4 people coming off the bench. I don't know. I mean, I would like to think that both of these teams would. I mean, I'd like to see if it would become a good series. But I really do feel like even with the Thunder and the Timberwolves, the games that the Thunder win, they're going to win pretty handily, and the two that the Timberwolves win is going to be close.
Yep, and that's probably what they want when you think about it, especially the Knicks. They're going to want to slow that pace down, and they have Jalen Brunson, who is Mr. Clutch. And he won the Clutch Player of the Year award this year.
Yeah.
So they're going to want that to where their stars can make a few baskets, some big dagger three-pointers, or a big dunk by Anthony Edwards. They're going to want it to get to that point to where they can pull to maybe steal a game or two out of there. Yeah. But if the Pacers are able to just impose what they do, which we both think they will do over the course of the series, yeah, these games can get out of hand. Yeah. And so I mean, I think especially in the Knicks case, with them starting that series in New York, they will get that crowd bump. Madison Square Garden will be on fire. I mean, goodness, if you saw the Knicks play Friday night in knocking out the Celtics, you would have thought they won the championship. The way people were surfing on security railings outside of the garden, you would have thought the Knicks were winning the title. They got to the Eastern Conference Finals. So that place is going to be alive. They're going to be loud. We get that. But adrenaline and emotion and momentum can only carry you so far. And look, the crowds in Indianapolis and OKC are going to be pretty rowdy too. They're going to be ready to go. And you have just deeper teams. And so, yeah, I think it's going to be Thunder in 6, Pacers in 6. You got Thunder in 6, Pacers in 5, right? All right. So here we are with those predictions. And before we get to the NHL conference finals, let's play a game, Patrick. Let's go ahead and play Run It Back or Break It Up. So for everybody who is watching, who might be new to the show and might not have seen this segment, what Run It Back or Break It Up entails is you have these teams who got knocked out in the semifinal rounds. So for Patrick and myself, we think that is an inflection point, a point where you have to decide, as that team who got knocked out from the conference semifinals, do you want to stay pat? Do you want to make a few adjustments and continue running this team that you have back? Or do you want to just maybe turn around and start over because you feel like you hit a point with this current roster you have? You don't know if you can get past that point. So with that in mind, we got these 4 teams, Boston Celtics, Denver Nuggets, Cleveland Cavaliers, and Golden State Warriors, who all got knocked out in the semifinals. So, Patrick, let's go ahead and let's get started on this game. We'll start with the defending champs, they were the defending champs. But we'll start with the Boston Celtics. Obviously, as you mentioned, they have the injury to Jason Tatum to deal with, the ruptured Achilles. But the team still pretty good, kind of contract strapped. But you have Jaylen Brown, you got Drew Holiday, Derek White. You have to figure out what is the deal with Kristaps Porzingis. And then you have Al Horford, who is 38 years old. Very good pro, of course. I mean, Al Horford, one of my favorite players that I've seen in the generation. Before anybody get in there, I'm not saying he's one of the best players in the generation, but he's a solid pro. been a solid pro his whole time.
Yeah,
And
no injuries. I mean, he's a solid player. You can count on him night after night for 10, 10 and 4, 10, 10 and 6.
Old faithful.
Old faithful.
Yeah.
Not Russell Williamson, who we used to call 50-50.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, Aaron has a comment. He says somebody once called Derek White the Rogaine Reaper, and I was just saying the Rogaine. Man, and Derek White, for his part, I mean, he's kind of one of those glue guys for the Celtics as well.
Yeah.
So
he doesn't come off the court. He wants to play 82 games. So I huge respect to Derek White for that, because you don't see that out of any player.
Really at all these days.
Not anymore.
And so Patrick, what you think? What you think with the Celtics? Is it one of these running backs? Is it a break it up? Maybe somewhere in the middle? What you got?
I'm gonna say running back, and this is the reason why. They're off of a championship. One, I mean, obviously they're not going to get it this year, but they just won it last year. I think they need to look at maybe retooling a little bit, but to break this team up and say,
"Stop it, Aaron." Yeah, here we're gonna
no,
get on
the Lakers are tear that shit up and start over and retire that dude. God, you gotta look, and they're fixing to anyway, because Luka is going back to Dallas.
Yeah. They're gonna trade Cooper Flag or double a pick to get.
Yeah. No, they're gonna keep Cooper Flag, and then they're gonna trade AD back for. They're gonna trade AD back, get Luka, and 2 first-round draft picks.
Yeah.
And then they're going to pick 3 times, all in the first round.
Yeah.
And then he's going to come out and look at it. And he's going to be like, dude, he was a genius. Change.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. Whoa.
He only went around in circles 5 times. But yeah. I get it.
As he sits there going.
Yeah.
You know, 1.8% chance. 1.8.
Yeah.
No, but the Celtics, I think if they retool, I think, I look at Horford, and like you said, solid player, but how much longer is he going to be out there on the court? But the retooling is going to happen, because Tatum's not going to be on the court. So you're going to look at Jaylen Brown to lead that team, or Holiday to lead that team, I guess. One of those two, or maybe a combination of both. I don't know yet. But you're obviously going to have to retool and get somebody to help fill the shoes of Tatum.
All right, and so Aaron is over here giving us an update. All right, T-Wolves started off fast, 8-0, and that I expected, so because they're a little bit, they're fresh. They're the fresher team right now. The Thunder just played a 7-game series with the Denver Nuggets, and coming out a little bit tired. It's all right. They'll get into the game though.
It's first quarter. Nobody watches first quarter.
Hey, don't say Aaron that. Apparently, Aaron does.
Yeah, Aaron does. Aaron's like, I watch every second.
Yeah. But I'm with you though, Patrick, with the Celtics. I just think, you can retool a little bit. The issue is it's gonna be a little bit difficult to retool. They may be able to get a player with one of those mid-level exceptions, or you can sign them for maybe a discounted deal. And when I say discounted, I mean like $5 million or something. But
for sure.
NBA standards we're talking.
Hey, Celtic standard.
Yeah.
That's a deal.
He said, Aaron says, I watch Canadian football in the dead of summer, so I'll watch the playoff. Hey, look, nothing wrong with watching the Canadian football. Look, I'm watching the UFL right now, Aaron, so I'm with you. I'll be watching sports every other day.
I'm on college softball and college baseball, so
yeah, I've been watching that too.
That's my jam right there. Baseball, that's a jam, dude. I'll be watching that all the time.
Man, nothing wrong with Canadian football. Shoot, I take a look at some of that too. But yeah, that's the only issue with Boston. These contracts they have going to Tatum and to Brown. I mean, both of those are max players, and those are in excess. And I don't have the exact figure, but it's in excess of like almost 5 years and 350 million dollars for
Yeah.
each player. So you have that. You did resign Derek White, so he's going to be there for a little bit, but he has a pretty nice contract.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Drew Holiday, Al Horford. He said, Aaron said, I can't wait until Dude Epic. Dude Epic is on ESPN and the Ocho with the parent. He said,
It's bro epic, man. Come on.
I think Aaron was messing with you. I think he
Come
knows it's
on.
bro epic. My man said, Dude Epic.
Dude.
Wow.
Come on.
Oh man. But yeah,
Hey, we might even start our own channel, the New
yeah,
Wave.
you know it, yeah. Oh boy. But yeah. Yeah, I would run it back to, like you said, they're just coming off of winning a championship the year prior. No reason to panic here. Just see if you can retool. And if you're Joe Masula, you see, I tell you, Aaron, he's like, God dang it, I was close. Yes, bro, epic.
Right there.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah, he said, yeah.
No, you won't
Yeah.
at all.
Sorry, Pat, my bad. I will not pass go or collect 200.
Straight to jail.
Ah man.
No free parking for you.
So yeah. If you're Joe Masula, also maybe bump the rotation up a little bit more. The Celtics normally play 9 players. If you're going to play players during the regular season, why are you not going to play them in the playoffs? Like, what is the regular season for if you can't develop these players, see what they can do in some crucial situations, and then you're just going to go ahead and just bury them on the bench? That makes no sense to me.
Yeah, well, the Knicks did it too, and I never understood that. It's like if you're gonna play them, play them. That's the reason why you play them, is so that you can build that chemistry, and then you can have different lineups that you're sending out on the court, whether you got all short fast, or you want to mix with a big small or a small big and run. That's the whole point of that. And then if something's not working, then you always have something to fall back on. There's no point in shortening the bench when you get to the playoffs. There's no point. Just play what got you there. That's the one thing that we always say is like, why do you change your game plan when you get to the playoffs, or why do you change your game plan when you get to a national championship, when if you do what got you there, there's a lot of times you'll win it. I mean, look at Alabama and how they did. I mean, they did what they did because that's what got them to the national championship, and they won it 7 times, 6 times, or whatever it was. So just do what got you there, and play your bench.
And Patrick, before we get on the Cleveland Cavaliers, let's just point this out real quick. When you talk about shortening the bench, you look at the case of the Los Angeles Lakers, and we never really got to talk about it too much, and we won't spend too much time on it, but it just goes to your point. Remember in Game 4 of that series with the Lakers and the Timberwolves, and in the second half, JJ Redick did not go to his bench at all. The same 5 players played. Let's see. Listen, Derek White on there. Yes.
Yes, he came off the bench most of the season, but he did have a few games where he started.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Derek White started a lot of the games, actually, because the lineup they would start with, well, when they were whole, is Drew Holiday, Derek White, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Kristaps Porzingis, if they were healthy.
Oh, it was Derek White, one of the first to come off.
Yeah, he was on the bench though. Yes, he was.
That's what I thought then. I thought he was just coming off the bench, because every time I tuned in, he was already sitting on the bench and maybe coming in. And so,
and Aaron, your question about Cornette and Pritchard, yes, they were going off, but it's still in that 8-player kind of rotation there. And so if you can get because they had the other dude, Sam Hauser. He could come off, he could hit some threes along with Pritchard. Al Horford was coming off the bench. If he wasn't starting, he was kind of in and out of the starting lineup, depending on what was going on with Porzingis. So that's why, like, if you're gonna have this squad, you start the season with 15 players on the team in the NBA. When you get to the playoffs, you're supposed to shorten the rotation to 12. But even still, you should be able to play, to me, Patrick, at least 9 of those players. You should be able, like, at least, for whatever reason, I don't understand where you go just to 7 or 8. To me, that is going to wear your players down, especially if you are playing these 40-minute games back to back like this. And then with the Lakers, like you said, they didn't get that. JJ Redick did not go to the starters at all, and you just knew right there, like, the Lakers are doomed. I mean, you went ahead. They started a guy to tell you how down JJ Redick was on some of those players. They had Jackson Hayes in there. Jackson Hayes was benched for a guy in Maxi Kleber who hadn't played since January. So you mean to tell me you're going to sit this dude down who have been playing the only height you have on the team, and you're going to bring in this guy who hasn't played since January?
And then complain that you don't get rebounds?
Yeah. No wonder Rudy Gobert blew y'all out. But yeah, so to get back on the game, yes, Boston running back with a little bit of retooling is where both of us are. Let's go to the Cleveland Cavaliers, though. This one is pretty interesting. So what you have with them, Cleveland had the best regular season record in the Eastern Conference. And then he said the Nasus Antetokounmpo, Giannis's brother, who's buried on benches, would have been better than Maxi Kleber. That's so terrible. Oh boy. The Cleveland Cavaliers, that's an interesting case here. So you had a team that had the best record in the East, and they got bounced out in 5 games by the Indiana Pacers. And I know people had said, oh, well, the Cleveland had to deal with injuries. Well, how about this, y'all? The injuries, when Cleveland, so that was game 2, when Cleveland didn't have DeAndre Hunter, Evan Mobley, and Darius Garland. They still should have won that game. But they messed up and blew it, and the Pacers, Tyrese Halliburton took over and was able to hit that 3 at the end of the game to win it. So missed me with the injury stuff. But Cleveland, oof. I mean, I think this question, I don't know, Patrick, this seems a little bit harder to answer here.
This team is harder to answer because you would like to have good data going into the playoffs. And like you said, I mean, Cleveland was a little injured, but, you know, that unfortunately, that's part of the game. Regardless of the situation, though, and I have been thinking about this because, you know, I kind of had a feeling we were going to play this game earlier, you know, or late last week, because you always like to play it right around this time, and then you confirmed it today that we were. I look at Cleveland and I say this. They're such a good regular season team. My question, and I asked you this even before we started the whole thing, is are they good enough to win a 7-game series where you have players that are going to make adjustments throughout the game? And dude, when we're at this time, I mean, it's like this is the best of what the NBA has to offer. And you don't get an off night by getting to play the Pelicans, and then you come and play Golden State, and then you got to play this team 7 times. It's a little harder to say it, but I'm gonna have to say you got to break it up. And the reason why is because there is nobody on this team that you look at and say he's our leader. There's nobody on the team that you can put that trust in. So I'm going to say break it up. And then, I mean, I wouldn't just rip it all apart. Yeah, few people I would keep, maybe 3 or 4, and then build around that, and then go find that star that's going to set us up to the next level. If I'm Cleveland, but I say figure those 3 out, build around them, and try it again. And I agree, they do need to trade Hunter. I mean, like even when Hunter was in Atlanta, he was never a consistent guy, and I mean, that's the reason why Atlanta got rid of him. So I say break it up. I say break it up, give them 3 people, build around those 3, and try it again.
Cleveland, all right, so if there is a leader on there, I guess you would say it would be Donovan Mitchell. I guess with Donovan Mitchell, what you're looking for with him, and this is just specific to him, what you're looking for from him is to be able to take that next step. If he's going to be a superstar player,
it can't be just he's going to be that superstar player.
It can't be about the offensive end all the time. You're going to have to take the challenge to guard the other team's best offensive player. This is like when you look at Minnesota, Anthony Edwards is willing to take that challenge on. I will guard the team's best offensive player, especially in the money times. I want that challenge. When you looked at Boston last year, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum said, look, we'll guard the best offensive player. All right, now normally that would have been left to Drew Holiday or Derek White even. But now these guys are saying, hey, we're going to do this. We're going to take that next step. Our team needs that from us, especially if we are the leaders of the team. Donovan Mitchell has to be able to take that next step and say, I'm going to be that complete player. And I think there's strides that says he may be able to get there, but he's not there yet. And so that's what you're looking for in the next season.
Now, I will say this. If he's willing to take that step, get rid of a few people, run it back. But if he's not willing to take that step, we got to find somebody, and you either got to drastically retool or get him to take that next step and then go.
So I think with Cleveland, I'm gonna say run it back with them. I know you said break it up. I'm gonna say run it back, and here's why. When we talked about Major League Baseball in the regular season, there was one key word that you remember me using, and that was development. All these guys have to develop. Evan Mobley, he took a step, but he got to get stronger because Indiana was pushing him all over the place.
Yeah, he needs that. He needs that about 15, 20 pounds.
Yeah, Darius Garland,
like
yeah, right. Yeah. Darius Garland, same thing. He gotta get stronger. Jared Allen, he's got to add to his game a little bit. He can get you 15 and 10, sometimes even 20 and 10, but he's not a guy that you can run your offense through. He's your guy who's going to catch lobs, who's going to catch cuts to the rim. He's a very good defensive player. He can block shots, but even he was getting pushed around a little bit by the Indiana front court. So if they're going to take that next step, then all those guys have to collectively get better in some way, shape, or form. And yes, they can. So I'll say run it back with a little bit of retooling. But now, next year, if we have this conversation about Cleveland, it's,
did they get bounced in 5?
It's a breakup. Yes, but I think
I have a feeling that's what's going to happen anyway. You know what I mean? Because it, like you said, if Mitchell does not take this step, then there's nobody to lead the team. And if there's nobody to lead the team, then the same thing's going to happen. You know what I mean? And if it's going to happen again, then why not just go ahead and save yourself a year and go ahead and fix it? You know what I mean? But if Mitchell wants to take that step and he wants to be the leader of that team, there's a good chance that they can go a little deeper in the playoffs.
And their defense is terrible.
Oh, like, Indiana that has got to be addressed yesterday.
Yeah, because Indiana ran up and down the court on them, and they were scoring at will. And so get better defensively, and those players individually have to get either better with their skill set or stronger. And so if that doesn't happen, then yeah, I think it'd be time to break it up. But yeah, I'll say run it back with a few adjustments. Maybe you can make a few adjustments to the roster. But yeah, those steps have to be taken. Um, let's head on over to the Western Conference for the other two teams, Patrick. We have the Denver Nuggets. So obviously they have I don't know what's taking so long with the MVP announcement. I don't know what the NBA is doing, but we know Nikola Jokic has won 3 of the last 4, and he is still a beast. You got Jamal Murray, and you have some good players. Michael Porter Jr. He wasn't that great. He was dealing with the shoulder injury, but wasn't that great in the playoffs. Aaron Gordon actually saved some games for him. So Denver still has a pretty good roster. And then we'll see what they do with the coach. I believe David Adelman will keep the job and become the full-time head coach. But what do you see with Denver? Do you run it back, break it up? What you got?
I mean, fix the coaching. Fix the coaching. Like, you got to have a coach first and foremost. Have a coach, and as long as they could commit to that, I say run it back. I mean, I think they need to retool. I mean, they come off the bench with 2 people in the entire playoffs in that game or that series against the Thunder, and I kind of feel like they should have went a little deeper, but I don't know if they even have anybody deeper. So I say run it back, get a little bit more skilled players to help with off the bench, and run it back.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Play more people. Figure out what you have with the other people who are on the bench. And you saw it in the series with OKC. They ran out of gas. That game 7, they didn't have anything left.
They didn't have anything in the fourth quarter, man. And it was like, you got to have you cannot run the starting 5 the way they were running them. I mean, it just can't. And they had nobody off the bench. So I retool the bench. Retool the bench. I think your starting 5 is phenomenal. Just retool the bench.
Yep, with you. And then, like you said, figure out the coaching situation. If you're going to go with David Adelman, then go ahead and make him the head coach, whatever.
Yeah, don't play around. Do what you need to do.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's because I mean we're on the same page with that one. And now the Golden State Warriors. So we know they have the three veterans there leading the way: Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and now Jimmy Butler is on there. And then they have people who are hit or miss, more or less. Buddy Hield, hit or miss. Podziemski, hit or miss.
Miss or miss, and maybe they hit here and there.
Or they call them pods. Pods is hit or miss. Moses Moody, hit or miss. Jonathan Kuminga, who they had big plans for, he wasn't getting any playing time really until Steph Curry got hurt. So, man, Patrick, for me, I think it's time to break up Golden State, man. This core, it's an aging core, and I have no reason to believe this is going to get better at all. Like, I mean, I think they are on the way down. And now, look, I say this knowing and understanding Golden State is going to say, well, we have a full season with these guys, and we could really do something with them. Fully understand that's probably going to be their mentality with it. But I think it's a dead end. I don't see them getting past this round. If they bring this same core back a year older, I don't see them getting any further than the semifinals again, if they even make it out of the first round. I mean, they barely made it out of the first round against the Houston Rockets. And so, if Houston can play some offense, they probably win that series. And so I think it's time to break some things up there. I mean, you got these contracts. I know Green and Butler, because Butler extended there as part of that trade. But if it was up to me, I'd say, look, pretty much most of the team except for Steph Curry is for sale.
Well, I mean, I agree with you. I say break it up because let's be honest. Even I don't even think it's going to matter with if you bring this team back 1 year older, you're going to get bounced in the first round because it's as simple as this. Look at what you're going against: Thunder, Rockets, Nuggets, Clippers, Timberwolves, and now I mean in the Mavericks you got what?
Flag coming
now. I mean, I say break it up and look. If they were in the East, be honest with you, I'd probably say run it back. Let's see what that is because I kind of agree. I'd like to see what this team could do on the court, but blow it up, and blow it up. Besides Jimmy, I would probably say blow it up and
besides Steph. Yeah, Jimmy can go. Jimmy has blown up every team he's left.
Yeah, he's left them in nuclear state. Everybody's got gas masks on and can't figure anything out and fight World War Z every time he leaves. But they're in the West, and here's the thing: if they're in the West, you got those 5 teams that I just mentioned. You gotta do more than retool. You gotta figure it out and get some players on that team that can handle that.
Keep Pat Spencer. Dude's like buried so far on the bench.
Hey, you need that guy to take that $600,000 and expect not to play. Dude, that's what I'm looking for. That's the position I need.
And you expect that, and not mentioned with those teams that you threw in there, you expect the Spurs to be better if they get Victor Wembanyama back healthy from his blood clots, with De'Aaron Fox playing. Yeah, I mean, the West is rugged. It is a very, very tough conference, and I think it's time to blow it up with everybody besides Steph. Aaron, sorry, like Jimmy.
Stephen Spencer. Yes.
Hey, Aaron. Look, much respect to Pat Spencer, and like Patrick said, he got that spot that we want. We want that $500,000 spot.
Hey, he got that ideal spot that I'm looking for.
But
that $1 million high five, dude.
But that goes back to the people. Like, if that dude is on the bench, why is he not playing? What's going on? Let's go ahead and play these guys and let's see what they can do instead of just burying them on the bench all the time. I don't get it. So there we go. All right, so that concludes our game of run it back and breaking it up, or run it back or break it up. And hey, I hope y'all enjoyed it. For the ones who are new to this webcast, this is what we do, because it's always that point. And right there, when a team gets knocked out in the conference semifinal rounds, there's some questions that need to be asked. Do we want to continue to run this back to see if we can build on this, or is it time to just start over? And so I think it's always interesting to have those conversations about those teams who are kind of in the middle. Let's roll on over to the NHL right quick, Patrick, and look at these conference finals. Now, I will say this. I do believe the 4 best teams are the ones that are in, or are the ones that are remaining right now. That's what I think. And I get what happened with the Winnipeg Jets having the best record in the NHL. I know the Washington Capitals had the best record in the East. I know the Toronto Maple Leafs have the second best record in the East. But when it comes back down to it, these 4 teams, Edmonton Oilers, Dallas Stars, Carolina Hurricanes, and the defending champion Florida Panthers, these are the 4 best teams left right now. And I think we got the best 4 that are playing to get to the Stanley Cup and ultimately win the Stanley Cup.
And the next 3 series is going to be the best you'll ever watch.
Yes.
This year.
This year. Yeah. So,
hey, and what did I say about them Stars and them Hurricanes? What did I say?
Yeah, they look good, and I didn't disagree with you.
Hey, dude, those are my 2 favorite ones right there, man. Just the way they play, dude. Those are my favorite ones right there.
Well, I'll agree with you with the Stars. The Hurricanes win. I don't know. Here's the thing with the Hurricanes, man. The Hurricanes are good. Do not get me wrong on this. I am not trying to disrespect the Hurricanes in any way at all. But the only thing I will say about the Hurricanes is they have that one style of play to just push and push and push, throw pucks at the net. Against a team like Florida, who can defend as well as they can and can choke you out like they are capable of doing, and then they are good at the counterattack, that's where Carolina can run into trouble. So unless Carolina can show they can win a game where they're not necessarily imposing their will, but they can find a way to win. And they're going to have to win some. They're going to beat the Panthers, Patrick, and I know you know this. They're going to have to win some 2-1, 3-2.
They're going to have to win in the dirty spots.
Yes.
They're going to have to win in the dirty spots. And on top of that, like you said, with the Panthers, they like to play. They can play in multiple styles. Okay, and look, I get that. Here's the thing. Sometimes the Panthers can get a little too flashy with it, and I think that's their downside. And I will also say this about the Panthers. I gotta say this about the Panthers. When they are in what's it called? Power play. When they're in the power play, they're ranked top 5 in offense, and they're ranked like 1 in defense. Something crazy like that. So they're phenomenal in the power play. Their blue liners are phenomenal when it comes to defense and putting their body on the line. So there's a lot of things about the Panthers that I do like. The one thing I don't like is they kind of get a little flashy with it, and I guess rightfully so. They are defending champions. And here they are looking at a two-peat. You know what I mean? So rightfully so. Here's the thing with the Canes. The Hurricanes play one way, but man, they play it so freaking good. You know what I mean? So I see Stars Canes. That's what I see. That's kind of where I want it to go. But I mean, these 4, like you said, these are the best 4 teams. They were the best 4 teams all season. They're the most consistent. They're the fastest. They just phenomenal teams up and down all 4 of their lines. And they all 4 of these teams play all 4 of their lines. They don't cut it down to 3 and then put the 5th or 4th one in every now and then. They play all 4. So these 4 teams, I mean, both of these series is good. The next 3 series is all going 7 games, guaranteed. So this is good hockey. But I'm going Stars and Canes.
Gotcha. He said counterclockwise. You know,
they're all out there on the ice.
I have the Panthers and Stars. And look, the Oilers, very, very good. Do not get me wrong. I mean, they got maybe you can say he's the best player. He's the best player in the league, and Connor McDavid. I mean, he's a beast. And Draisaitl next to him. Edmonton has gotten better defensively as well. What I like about Dallas is peaking at the right time because they have won these games and they're getting people back in the process. And these are some of their best players. They got Jason Robertson back. I think his name is Haskinen, their defenseman. He's back. And you got them playing with the way Rantanen has been playing this year, coming over, he was with the Avalanche, and then he got traded to the Hurricanes for a little bit before getting traded to the Stars. And man, he's fit
in really well.
Yeah.
He's on second line. He's on second line.
Second line, second line. Sometimes they'll throw him in there on that first line too. That right now that Dallas has so much flexibility they have with the people because those guys have become healthy again, and now that just makes them so deep. So I do think Dallas has enough, and this is a rematch. These 2 teams met in last year's Western Conference Finals that the Oilers won in 6 games. So I
Yeah,
think
so
that was,
Dallas is playing with a chip on their shoulder as well. So
yeah, I think
yeah,
that was
Dallas is gonna win that series, man. They're a good team, man. And there's no offense being thrown to the Oilers or any of the other teams that were in the playoffs. Like we said, this is probably the one sport right here where an 8 seed team can, or 4th seed or 6, what is it, 4 seed?
where AFC could win the Stanley Cup.
Win the whole thing. You know what I mean? So, and these 4 teams, man, they got the best goalies. So
yeah. Best 4 teams left. You got the best 4 possible teams that you can have left. And like, I don't really think there's much of a debate. And I get those series. Like, I know the Maple Leafs actually stepped up and took the Panthers to 7 games. But in that 7th game, I mean, you just saw what the Panthers could do and in choking you out and scoring.
Mm-hmm.
And with that series, like you said, the Hurricanes, what they do really, really well.
Yeah.
But Patrick, you know what we normally say when it comes to this point. You got to be able to win multiple ways. So Carolina, what I want to see from Carolina, if they can, one of these first 2 games, which they have the home ice advantage playing in Raleigh, North Carolina. If they can win one of these games, and maybe they won't have to, like, we'll see. I mean, as it is, like right now, they're down 2-1 because that series started
3-1.
3-1. Okay.
No, yeah, Florida just scored.
Oh, wow. Okay, so what I got to see from Carolina is they can win these dirty games. This might be one of these dirty games. We'll see if they continue to come with that pressure. Because one thing about Florida, like you said, they can get a little bit cute sometimes, but you know, Florida ain't gonna give you anything. Like, you're gonna have to dirty.
You're gonna get her dirty, and I love how their goalie plays, man. Especially when the centers get in there and he just like,
yeah,
and he hits, man.
Get off of me, yeah.
I like it. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I got the Canes winning, but man, it would not surprise me to see Florida go. It wouldn't. This could go in so many different directions. So, I mean, even the Oilers could come out of the West. So,
absolutely,
these are going to be the best 21 games you'll watch right here all season. This is it. I'm so excited about this one, especially the Stars and Oilers. That's going to be a good series.
So, and then like we mentioned, the Panthers and Hurricanes, they are on the ice right now, starting tonight, and Wednesday night will be the start between the Oilers and Stars down there in Dallas. So, Patrick, before we hop on out, let's talk about a little bit of baseball. And MLB reinstated Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson, among others, basically making them eligible for the Hall of Fame. Can you tell me what the point is to that? Because
let's put dead people in the Hall of Fame now.
Yeah,
I don't see the point in it. I know you mentioned it to me earlier today. I don't see the point in it. I mean, like, it doesn't make anybody, like, if you're trying to fix that for me and I'm already dead, I could give a crap less. I would have much rather have known that when I was alive, so I could have enjoyed it. At this point, I don't care. But I mean, I guess Pete Rose's family does. Hell, they took a gamble on it and they won.
It seems like it does seem like a
stab.
Yeah, it seems like a slap in the face.
To me, it does. I unless the family really just wanted it, and then back in Shoeless Joe, man, come on, dude. 1800s, come on.
It was 1919. Right? Sorry. Man said
1800s, dude. It might as well be, and that was so far away. I mean, it don't matter. But I mean, look, at that point, it's way out of my relevancy anyway. So I'm just saying. Look, I get it was 1919 and 1918, 1919. I know that, but man, it just felt like it's so far away.
Well, the Pete Rose thing is out of your. I mean, that was 1980.
Both of them are.
You know,
Both of them are. I don't. To me, it's just it. Somebody needed to have some clickbait. That's all it was.
it just yeah. When I heard it, I said, why is Rob Manfred coming through with this now? And I mean, so look, I know maybe there was a little bit of pressure that came from higher powers. When I say higher powers, I mean from POTUS, because he had spoke about it, basically saying Pete Rose deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. And even there, I'm just like, come on, man. Like, I mean,
We're trying
he's
to fix
dead.
things that ain't broken.
Yeah, like I'm sorry, like he's dead, and like you said, it's not like he can enjoy it. This dude, he had been
He
banned.
fought that for years.
Yeah, he'd been banned for life, and now he's gone. He passed away last year, and now all of a sudden we want to go ahead and say, oh well, he's eligible. So, what? So at that point, Patrick, what precedent does that sin? What precedent does that set? Because when you have all these other players who haven't been able to get into the Hall of Fame because of the things that happened during the steroid era, when they pass away, does that make them eligible? Like, what are we doing here? I
Well,
don't.
this goes back on my argument I had many, many years ago. If we're going to put an asterisk by it, then what's the point? Because now when my kids ask, oh, well, this is all I got to do, and I still get in the Hall of Fame, and all they're going to do is put an asterisk beside my name. Who cares? If you're gonna go in and you're gonna put an asterisk beside their name, whether that's what Pete Rose did, Shoeless Joe did, Mark McGuire, I don't care, Barry Bonds, it don't matter. If you have to put an asterisk beside their name, they don't deserve to be there. Period. It doesn't matter. If you can't play the game clean, you can't get the prizes. You play stupid games, you get stupid prizes. And they did. And if you don't get caught, hey, good for you. But if you did, sorry, you're not in. And I don't care what it takes. Like, you ban them from the Hall of Fame and you let it go. So, I mean, I say if you're gonna do it, stick to your guns. If you're gonna let Pete Rose in, you should have let him in years ago. Not now because he's dead.
So Aaron, on this conversation, he said he thinks it's good that Rose got eligible, especially in today's society. So Aaron, here's where I can understand where you're coming from with that. Okay, so you pointed it out on your next comment where they let you bet on the number of chipmunks on your way to Starbucks. Exactly. And that's exactly that. You beat me to it, Aaron. That is a great point. With the way things are today, where yes, every commercial you see, Patrick, we talked about that last week, where you were talking about every commercial you see is a betting commercial. It's something gambling is in this commercial. You have all these networks who openly just talk about gambling all the time, over under values, plus minus values, everything.
No, it's how they even pick teams to win now.
Yeah.
By the over under.
Yep. And so I'm with you on that Aaron. And then with Patrick, I see your point too. Look, if you're gonna ban them, keep them banned. Yeah. Just keep them banned. Don't sit there, especially after this long.
Especially after this long. Like, if you're gonna ban him, and then you're like, well, in today's society, I can see that, and he's like, this was like 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. Do it. If that's what you want to do it. I still feel like I don't care what the society is. If you have to put an asterisk beside his name, his or her name, I don't care what sport it is. If you're going to have to put that asterisk beside their name, they don't deserve to be in. Period.
And Patrick, I know you remember me saying this years ago too. Like, if the commissioner who oversaw the steroid era can get into the Hall of Fame basically without any question, you mean to tell me the players can't? What are we doing? We're gonna put the commissioner in.
What are
Whoever
we
saw
doing now?
that.
Yeah, he's the one that was smoking weed and making all the decisions, and he's like, yeah. And he's
But
out here? Come on.
give me a break, man. Ugh.
Honestly, it's gotten to the point where even when you look at the Hall of Fame, it's just like it's a joke. It's a joke. It's a running joke, is what it is. And nowadays, I don't think people really even care to be in the Hall of Fame. I think they much rather do drugs, stay in the game, make more money, and then get out. Hell, that's what I'd do.
I think before we wrap up, the Hall of Fame has turned into the Hall of Very Good.
Yeah.
And it's almost like if you have good numbers, not necessarily great or historic numbers, to where you were pushing in some way, shape, or form, you was amongst the best in doing this, you can still get in if you have some very good numbers.
Yeah.
And so, like, in the Hall of Fame, at least to my understanding, was it designed for you just to be very good? Like, you had to be historically good to
Yeah,
get
you had to break records. I mean, like, do what Nolan Ryan did. I mean, this dude set records that will never be beaten.
Yeah,
You want to talk about a true GOAT in any sport? Let's talk about Serena Williams and Nolan Ryan. Let's go in these directions. You know what I mean?
You can even go to like Cal Ripken's Iron Man record, like like something like that.
He was in like 5 million straight games.
Yeah,
you know. I don't know, man. It's like if you're really going to look at these people, like I wouldn't. You had to earn your way to the. You had to earn your way to the Hall of Fame, not just be like, oh, longevity.
Aaron's comment where they want you betting on the number of chickmunks on your way to Starbucks.
It's a good
oh
one.
Gosh, Patrick, what is coming up for Bro Epic?
Well, we had the dodgeball game come out a couple weeks back. We're still posting on a few of the shorts to promote that show. We're trying to get enough parents and kids, but man, it's already freaking in the 90s here. It's so hot outside. I was like, man, I don't know about a kickball game. I walk out there and I started sweating, dude. I'm like, but I think we're going to try to do that, and we're going to wrap up our Tetris tournament, starting going back to that next week, and then we're going to go back to our bowling tournament, and so we're going to try to get our bowling tournament in, and the kids versus parents kickball game in.
All right, and for both of sports, just pay attention for the summer. We're working on these things. Thumbnail.
Thumbnail.
What's
the other one?
The image.
Discord.
Yes, Discord. Yes, and I have a Discord. I just got to bring it on over there. Aaron, thanks so much for tuning in again, and I'd appreciate your comments and you bringing the energy. And please, keep on coming, man, because you make the show better. So everyone else who has tuned in, thanks a lot. That will conclude this edition of the BOFA Sports Webcast, and that is what we are breathing on for this evening. So y'all make sure y'all visit the BOFA Sports YouTube channel, smash that subscribe button, and follow the BOFA Sports Facebook page. So until next time, everybody take care. I think, let's see, Aaron, I gotta send it.
Good question, Aaron.
Yeah, I have to send it because I have the Discord link, but
Aaron, it's a good question. Ask it again next week, and we'll still say the same thing. Good question.
No,
Charles.
Patrick, where's your Discord link?
I don't need a Discord link. Well, I guess if I'm going to do my Bro Epic Gaming, which I need to really get into because I haven't done it yet.
It's all right. Hey, look, we're both holding ourselves accountable for this. So
I need
So we'll make sure we'll get that to you, Aaron. That is definitely keeping us accountable there. We appreciate it. And for everybody else, enjoy these conference finals. Some good baseball that is happening on the college side, softball and baseball. And it'll be Memorial Day weekend next week. So everybody have a safe Memorial Day, and we will see you next week. Take it easy and have a good evening.
And go dogs.